The 1920s in America, a decade of jazz, glamour, and rapid change. But beneath the surface, a dark and dangerous world was taking shape. When the government enforced prohibition, banning the production and sale of alcohol, they believed it would bring order and morality. Instead, it did the opposite. It created a massive underground economy, one filled with crime, violence, and opportunity. And in that chaos, one man rose to the top. Al Capone. Born in Brooklyn in 1899 to Italian immigrant parents, Capone's early life was far from glamorous. He grew up in a tough neighborhood, surrounded by poverty and street violence. School didn't last long for him. He dropped out at a young age after getting into trouble with a teacher. From that point on, the streets became his classroom. It was there he learned the rules of survival, power, loyalty, and fear. As a young man, Capone became associated with organized crime groups, including those led by Johnny Torrio, a key figure who would later shape his future. Torrio saw potential in Capone and took him under his wing, eventually bringing him to Chicago, a city that was about to become the center of America's criminal underworld. Chicago in the 1920s was a battleground. Rival gangs fought for control over illegal businesses, especially alcohol. With prohibition in full effect, the demand for liquor skyrocketed, and Capone was ready to supply it. Under Torrio's guidance, and later as his successor, Capone built a vast criminal empire based on bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution. But this wasn't just a small operation, it was a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Capone wasn't just a gangster, he was a businessman. He organized his operations with precision, creating networks that stretched across the city and beyond. He owned speakeasies, secret bars hidden from the law, where people from all walks of life came to drink and escape reality. From politicians to celebrities, many were connected to his empire, either directly or indirectly. But Capone's rise to power wasn't clean, it was soaked in blood. Rivalries between gangs often turned deadly, and violence became a daily occurrence. The most chilling example of this brutality was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On February 14, 1929, 7 members of a rival gang were lined up against the wall and executed in broad daylight. The killers were disguised as police officers, making the scene even more terrifying. While Capone was never officially convicted for this crime, watch full video, link in bio.